Hai, Assalamualaikum and good day everyone. So today kita akan masuk pasal salt untuk 7.1. Okay, so for the learning outcome for today, kita akan explain qualitatively salt hydrolysis using hydrolysis equation of strong acid and strong base, strong acid and weak base, and weak acid and strong base. And kita akan classify the salt as neutral, acidic, or basic. So explain qualitatively meaning we have to explain it in words and then by using equation juga sebenarnya. So salt hydrolysis, what does it mean by salt hydrolysis then? Okay, so salt hydrolysis bermaksud benda tu mesti ada kaitan dengan air lah, hydro kan. Okay, so it is the reaction of anion or cation of salt or both with water. Okay, so mana datang anion cation ni? Daripada salt. So general equation for neutralization to produce salt is kita mesti ada acid dengan base lah kan. So acid dengan base and then kita akan produce salt and then water. Okay, so kita ambil pula water tu. So water tu nanti adakah dia akan react dengan the water ataupun tidak? So apa yang berlaku adalah bila salt kita masukkan dalam water, dia akan fully dissociate. Okay, so bila dia dissociate, so kita akan dapat cation dengan anion dan so kita ada M plus dengan X minus kat sini. So kita punya anion dengan cation ni lah yang akan react with water pula. So itu adalah yang dikatakan sebagai salt hydrolysis. Okay, so cation hydrolysis bermaksud dia cation kita reactkan dengan water. Okay, so bila kita reactkan dengan water, so apa yang kita akan dapat adalah MOH plus H plus. Okay, so M plus dekat sini apa yang berlaku dekat dia adalah, so H2O kan water, kalau dia dissociate kita akan dapat H plus dengan OH minus kan. So siapa yang akan react dengan M plus? So of course OH minus. So kita akan dapat MOH lah. Okay, and then yang H plus yang baki tu so dia tinggal seorang kat sini. So kalau kita ada anion pula, so X minus. So again kita ada H2O. So H2O kalau kita dissociate kita ada H plus dengan OH minus. So the one yang akan react with X minus would be H plus then. So kita akan dapat HX tambah dengan OH minus dekat sini. Okay, so depends dengan which ion yang akan react dengan water. So kita akan produce sama ada H plus ataupun OH minus. Okay. Alright, so type of salt. So in total kita ada 3. Okay, the first one kita panggil sebagai neutral salts. Neutral salt is formed from the reaction of a strong acid with a strong base. Okay, so for example kalau kita dapat sodium chloride and HCl, so it is produced by the reaction of HCl with NaOH, where HCl is a strong acid and NaOH is a strong base. So kita akan dapat salt with water. So NaCl pula kalau kita dissociatekan dia completely in water, kita akan dapat Na plus dengan Cl minus. So these two ions here, so somehow they cannot hydrolyze with water. Okay, so this is because bila kita form kita form this salt here. Okay, so Na dia datang daripada NaOH kan, so dia datang daripada a strong base. Meanwhile Cl minus pula dia datang daripada a strong acid. So somehow strong acid dengan strong base bila dia react together, dia akan form a weak conjugated product. So bila kita form a weak conjugated product, so dia tak boleh nak react with water. Okay, so that's why Na plus Cl minus both cannot react with water, so they cannot hydrolyze with water. Therefore, since dia tak hydrolyze with water, so dia tak produce any H plus, dia tak produce any OH minus, so dia akan jadi neutral then. Okay, so there is no production of extra H plus ion or OH minus and solution is neutral. Okay, so NaCl salt is said to be neutral lah sebab tak ada H plus dengan OH minus. Okay, and then next kita pergi kepada acidic salt. So acidic salt pula is formed when kita reactkan strong acid with a weak base. For example, kita ada ammonium chloride. So ammonium chloride adalah is formed when HCl dengan ammonia react together lah. HCl is being the strong acid, ammonia pula being the weak base. Therefore kita dapat NH4Cl plus H2O. So kalau kita dissociatekan the salt dalam water, kita akan dapat dua ion which is NH4 plus and also Cl minus. Okay, so NH4 plus dia datang daripada ammonia kan. Cl minus pula dia datang daripada strong acid. Jadi NH4 plus since they form from the weak base, so NH4 plus is considered sebagai a strong conjugated product then. Okay, meanwhile Cl minus pula coming from a strong acid, so dia jadi weak conjugated. So kalau yang weak conjugated, so dia tak boleh nak react with water dan. Tapi what about the strong one? So adakah the strong conjugated product, adakah dia akan react with water? Yes. Okay, so basically strong acid akan produce a weak strong acid ataupun strong base akan produce a weak conjugated product. Meanwhile kalau dia adalah daripada weak acid ataupun weak base, dia akan produce a strong conjugated product, whereby a strong conjugated product dia boleh hydrolyze with water. Okay, keep that in your mind. Alright, so ini adalah equation kalau kita dissociatekan the salt, okay, in water. So from the equation here, okay, so macam tadi Miss dah mention dah, so NH4+ dia akan act sebagai a strong conjugated acid, okay, because it comes from a weak base kan, so dia akan jadi a strong conjugated acid, therefore it will donate proton to water dan, since dia adalah acid sekarang, so dia sebagai acid, so dia akan donate proton kepada water. Okay, so that is based on Bronsted-Lowry punya teori kan, kalau dia adalah acid dia akan donate proton, so dia donate proton kepada water, therefore kita akan nampak production of H3O+ dekat sini. Okay, meanwhile Cl-, okay, being the weak conjugated base, so it does not react with water. Okay, so this particular reaction here, it does not occur actually, so there's no reaction actually. Okay, this one here kamu boleh gantikan dengan no reaction sebenarnya, there's no such reaction. So bila a weak conjugate base react with water, okay, kita hydrolyzekan water, there's no such product produced actually. Okay, so this reaction does not take place, so the only reaction that does take place is actually the one yang atas ni. So perlukah tulis yang bawah ni? Kalau tak nak tulis pun tak apa, ataupun tulis tapi letak dekat bahagian product dia no reaction, that should be fine. Okay, so the production of H3O+ from the hydrolysis of NH4+ causes the solution to be acidic, because kita produce banyak H3O+, right? So that's why dia jadi acidic lah, so the solution akan jadi acidic. So this reaction is also known as the cationic hydrolysis. Okay, so next kita pergi kepada basic salt. So kalau basic salt pula, it is formed from the reaction of a strong base with a weak acid. So for example, kita ada sodium carbonate. So sodium carbonate kita dapat daripada a weak acid H2CO3, and then kita ada a strong base NaOH. So kita akan dapat salt dekat situ. So bila kita masukkan salt dengan water, so dia akan dissociate completely, menghasilkan Na+ and also CO3 2-. Okay, so sebab Miss mention complete, right, it dissociate completely. So kita tengok arrow, Miss guna arrow yang irreversible dekat sini. Okay, so 2 Na+ and then CO3 2-. So Na+ coming from a strong base, meanwhile CO3 2- coming from a weak acid. Therefore siapa yang akan react dengan water then? So of course the one that comes from the weak parent lah, the weak parent. So weak parent maksud Miss sini acid. Okay, so ni consider the parent. Okay, kita ada acid dengan base. So ini pula adalah the anak. Okay, the anak dia, kita ambil anak yang datang daripada the weak one lah. Okay, so dia yang boleh hydrolyze with water, sebab sekarang ni dia yang jadi strong. Okay, so specifically CO3 2- is actually a strong conjugated base. Therefore bila dia jadi conjugated base, sebab dia datang daripada weak acid kan, so dia akan jadi conjugated base. So dia sekarang ni yang akan accept proton dan, okay, sebab dia main peranan sebagai base pula sekarang, so dia akan accept proton. So bila dia accept proton from water, so what happen now is, so dia accept proton, so dia akan jadi HCO3-. Okay, dia accept satu proton je daripada water, so dia akan jadi HCO3-, and then water tu sendiri pula akan jadi OH-. So as you can see, kita produce OH- from this particular hydrolysis reaction here. Okay, meanwhile what about Na+? So Na+, it does not react with water lah. Okay, so basically this particular reaction here does not occur. So if you want to write down, if there's no need for you to write down this equation pun, you can simply say that Na+ does not react with water, or you can write down Na+ plus H2O producing no reaction. Okay, so the production of OH- from the hydrolysis of CO3 2- causes the solution to be basic dan, sebab ada banyak OH- being produced in the solution, so dia consider sebagai basic dan. Okay, so this reaction is also known as anionic hydrolysis. Okay, so basically kita boleh tahu type of salt produced based on parent punya strength. Okay, so kalau kita tengok yang parent dia adalah from strong acid and strong base, so kita akan produce a neutral salt. Okay, kalau untuk acidic salt pula, it is produced from a strong acid with a weak base, meanwhile basic salt pula is produced from a weak acid with a strong base. Okay, so kalau neutral salt, the cation of the strong base and anion from the strong acid, okay, will they hydrolyze with water? No, okay, they do not hydrolyze with water. Dan tapi kalau acidic salt, okay, kalau yang reaction between strong acid weak base, so the cation dia akan hydrolyze with water and dia akan form acid. Okay, and then kalau basic salt pula, okay, so the anion daripada salt tu nanti dia akan hydrolyze as a base. Okay, so for example kita ada NaCl, the ammonium chloride, and also yang ni dipanggil sebagai sodium acetate. Okay, ini sodium acetate ataupun sodium ethanoate lah nama salt ni. Okay, so conclusion daripada hydrolysis for neutral salt. So basically ini adalah boleh jadi macam if you are asked to explain about the formation of the hydrolysis of a neutral salts, basically apa yang ada dekat this particular site can be used to explain the hydrolysis process. Okay, so untuk neutral salt, so kena ada strong acid with strong base, therefore kita akan produce a neutral salt in water where the pH is equals to 7. Okay, tapi kalau dia bagi a specific acid and base dekat kamu, kena tulis a full equation lah dekat sini. Okay, so for example NaCl, so kalau kita hydrolyze kan, kita dissociate kan the NaCl dalam water, so kita akan dapat NaCl producing Na plus and also Cl minus. Okay, they dissociated completely, that's why Miss guna arrow full kat sini. Okay, and then Na plus bila kita hydrolyze with water, no reaction. Cl minus, kita hydrolyze with water, no reaction. Because why? Because both cation and anion coming from strong acid and strong base, therefore they don't react with water. Okay, they do not hydrolyze with water. So the neutral salts do not undergo hydrolysis then. Okay, so there's no production of H plus, there's no production of OH minus. So dia jadi neutral. Okay, kalau hydrolysis of acidic salt, so it is between a strong acid with a weak base, so kita akan produce an acidic salt. So the pH value of the salt solution will be less than 7. So for example, we have ammonium chloride. So kalau kita dissociatekan the ammonium chloride, kita akan dapat NH4 plus and also Cl minus. NH4 plus coming from the weak base, Cl minus coming from the strong acid. Okay, so you have to identify apa parent dia sebenarnya at the first place. Okay, so only the cation hydrolyzes to form the H3O plus ion, therefore NH4Cl is said to undergo partial hydrolysis sebab antara dua ion yang ada dekat sini, okay, antara NH4 plus dengan Cl minus, only NH4 plus yang undergoes hydrolysis, therefore dia dipanggil sebagai partial hydrolysis lah. So hydrolysis equation for the cation would be NH4 plus H2O. Okay, dekat sini kita akan guna arrow reversible pula, producing ammonia and also H3O plus. Okay, so NH4 plus akan main peranan sebagai apa ni? Dia akan main peranan sebagai acid, yang ni akan jadi sebagai base. Okay, sebab dia adalah conjugate acid now, ini adalah base. So dia acid, so dia akan donate dia punya proton. So dia bagi proton kepada siapa? Dia bagi kepada water. So yang ni hilanglah satu hidrogen dia, tapi yang ni pula ada bertambah hidrogen dia. Okay, so since kita produce H3O+, that's why dia jadi considered sebagai acidic salt. And last kali kita ada hydrolysis of the basic salt. So it is produced from the reaction between strong base and also weak acid. So the pH of the solution, kalau kita dissolvekan the salt into water, kita akan dapat more than 7. Okay, dia punya pH. So for example, kita ada sodium ethanoate. Okay, so kalau kita dissociatekan the salt, kita akan dapat CH3COO negative with Na plus. Okay, whereby the CH3COO negative coming from the weak acid. Okay, meanwhile Na plus coming from the strong base. Okay, so kamu kena tahu macam mana apa contoh of strong base and weak acid yang boleh produce these two ion here. You have to know this. Okay, so adakah dua-dua akan react with water? So in this particular case, no. Only strong conjugated base yang akan react with the water. Okay, dia akan undergo hydrolysis. So dia akan form OH minus. Therefore, the CH3COO so dia undergo partial hydrolysis. Sebab antara dua ion ni, only CH3COO negative yang akan hydrolyze with water. Okay, so the equation for this would be this one. Okay, so since dia adalah apa now? Dia adalah base now. Okay, so yang ni akan jadi acid. So dia base, so dia akan gain proton. Okay, so dia gain proton daripada siapa? Daripada water. Okay, water pula dia donate proton dia kepada siapa? Kepada CH3COO negative. So as you can see, dia dapatlah produk ini. Okay, so that's it class. So I hope now kamu boleh ingat dah siapa yang akan hasilkan the acidic salt, siapa yang akan boleh hasilkan basic salt, siapa yang boleh hasilkan neutral salt, and then take note lah apa sebenarnya acid and base yang boleh menghasilkan, what kind of acid and base yang boleh menghasilkan those type of salts nanti. Okay, alright, so that's all. Thank you.